As we continue looking at some of perhaps the lesser known people in the Bible and the character traits that we can emulate, the things that we can learn from them, I want us to turn to 2 Timothy in chapter 1. Timothy was Paul's protege, and Paul has already written to him a letter that is encouraging him as he is a young pastor, and now this is a follow-up letter. And as Paul starts out in the first chapter, he's very thankful for Timothy. He's sorry that they are not together. And then he says, "For I am mindful of the sincere faith within you, which first dwelt in your grandmother Lois and your mother Eunice, and I am sure that it is in you as well." And what Paul is pointing there is to the heritage of faith that Timothy has. That whatever else we know about his grandmother and his mother, and we don't know a lot, there are some other details about his mother and father in the book of Acts. We do know that these two women, Lois and Eunice, had a sincere faith which they passed on to Timothy. And I think that for us as believers, first of all, when we go back to Deuteronomy, where God is telling the Israelites, you love the Lord your God with all your heart, soul, mind, and strength, and then you teach your children. And Eunice and Lois were examples of that, of two women who loved God, who had a sincere faith in themselves, but didn't just keep it to themselves. They passed it on to the next generation. I think it tells us that generational influence is important. And that generational influence can be negative or it can be positive. And so I would encourage you today, whether you are a parent, a grandparent, an aunt, an uncle, a teacher, when we are people of faith, when we have a sincere faith in Jesus Christ and are growing in that faith, are growing in our love for God, part of what we should be doing is investing in other people younger than us, people who haven't been a believer as long as we have, so that faith continues to multiply. That is God's plan for how his word spreads. That one person tells another, that one person lives life with another. Sometimes that's most easily done in the context of your home. Sometimes it's most easily done in the context of your workplace or your apartment building or your neighborhood. Wherever you find yourself today, I would encourage you to think, first of all, do I have that sincere faith? And second of all, does anybody else know about it? Am I modeling that faith? Am I sharing that faith for anyone else? So that the next generation, so that my coworkers, so that my neighbors would be able to also come to that sincere faith, and that then they in turn would pass it on to others. I pray that we would be women and men of sincere faith like Lois and Eunice and Timothy.